All right, so just getting with you today to kind of talk about what we're thinking for the future for some Hyflex spaces, hybrid spaces. I hate to use Hyflex because it's bigger than Hyflex, if you will. We're trying to. Our goal is to create obviously a better experience for the faculty as well as the students when it comes to remote, online, Hyflex, hybrid scenarios, kind of a mix and match, if you will, for those people within the classroom, those folks at home, and then when they're blended together and trying to increase that interactivity and operation of the whole thing. So I've got a couple slides, PowerPoint, just to kind of give you an idea of where we were coming from and why we're talking about this. And then I've got a couple product things I can show you, what we're looking to do and what we're looking to purchase. I just heard this morning that we do have funding, so it does look like I'm going to be able to go out and purchase some of this equipment and then do some experimenting, put some out there in the field, hopefully get people to use it. And really also I'm open for any ideas or spaces that you think you may want to utilize this or where it could be utilized. What I'm going to talk about today is kind of a full blown room, if you will. We'll probably build at least one of those, if not three of those. We're talking 114 campus center would probably be a good experiment for our CTAB committee, and just a lot of activity that goes in there that it might be useful. And then I'm kind of open. We've talked about a few other rooms on campus, and actually had some conversations with Jill and the people down at the Syracuse campus with the way their structure is heading, that it's probably a good idea to do something down there for those folks. So let me share my screen. And again, I'll just give you a little background on what we're looking at here. Everybody able to see this all right? Okay, so there's a SUNY SUNY group. I'm not sure if everybody's aware that they have being led by Laura Spenceley. They're really working out logistics and a policy and an overdraft of what Hyflex might mean at Oswego. They're referencing it as Hyflex. And again, let's not get bogged down by that term, but again, it's what my goal here is, again, to create a space that any type of mixture of learning can be better received and a whole better experience. So in their document, they had this framework, if you will. Again, it's student choice, and whether you want to be online, face-to-face. But again, my goal and my group here is to, increase this video conferencing availability. Obviously, most of the rooms we have right now are have some form. What we want to do is kind of improve the experience for those that are doing a mixture of some people at home, some people within the class, or even there was a few scenarios this semester as well that people kind of had two spaces working at the same time on campus and bringing those together. So again, just trying to create an overall improvement of this mixture of online, face-to-face, and when you're really interacting between the two groups synchronously. Also, obviously, what we want to do too is if you're doing this and you're doing your recordings for asynchronous playback later, again, improving that audio quality, that video quality. So this is kind of where the discussion started with myself and Sean, and just kind of working through that. Then a few CTAB meetings ago, we had a working groups where we broke out into breakout sessions and kind of talked about the post-pandemic recovery and what things might look like on campus. I just did some highlights here, again, really based on the classroom and that experience of online and face-to-face and mixing that. So here are some of the comments that came back from, I think we had like 9 working groups, so pretty good participation and some good feedback. So again, Hyflex is a way that we're moving towards. We'll see how far it explodes and how how many spaces we need to accommodate. But again, even if it's not true Hyflex, you're going to have some of that hybrid. So, getting comments of, do we need more microphones and cameras in the classrooms? And, just from the stuff that my staff has seen and discussing with faculty, obviously some of our scenarios aren't the best. We tried to get by with what we had and, backfill some needs just to get through what we were going through. So if we're going to continue this matter, and again, mixing and matching of the online and those face-to-face, we obviously need to look at those things. So again, just more mention of Hyflex, that equivalent experience for all, those in the room, those at home. And then again, sorry about that. Rethinking Hyflex and the modalities. What do we got to do to improve those teaching experience? Again, better cameras, better microphone arrays, the ability to move around the classroom. We don't want to tie that faculty member to the podium. Can they move around the room? Still converse with those in the room, obviously, is one experience, but how about those folks at home? Can they still hear the, good quality as they move around the room? Can they see the professor instead of having to be stuck there behind that, lectern podium? So taking those into consideration, again, more Hyflex, better remote participation for those on site and those at home, increased use of active learning. Again, if you're having a mix and match, that active learning can still take place, but if you have better video, better audio, overall experience is going to be better. And then obviously, the big movement and push for diversity, equity, and inclusion, always something to consider. And again, the more that we can help to improve that, the better off we're going to be. So again, really, microphones, cameras, that was really the big feedback, and enhancing that video and audio for both, those in the room as well as those out of the room. So it's kind of, again, where our background and where we were coming from, doing our research and what we want to do and what we think we might want to do. So what we've done is I did a lot of webinars, over the past year and a half, talked to a lot of vendors. And we've come up with a couple products that we've had them come on site, do demos for us, do online webinars strictly for us. And so I just wanted to kind of share those with you and talk about what we're thinking. So let's see here. So microphones, we're looking at a Shure product. Most of the microphones that we do have on campus are Shure, so we kind of wanted to stay within, a product that my staff and myself were more familiar with. So they have these microphone arrays, is what they're referencing them as. The 910 series here that you can see is a ceiling mount for some of our newer modern spaces that have the drop ceiling tiles. They also do have a 710, the sound bar, which can work kind of on a sidewall, either a vertical or a horizontal. The gentleman was here just last week from Shure, and we did some demos even upstairs here in the Lanigan lecture rooms. And I think we were in 107, and we tried out one of these 710 bars where it could be right under the screen, if you will. Could pick up everybody in the room, even the far back. We did a Zoom session between one conference room and the other. Audio quality was outstanding. So this may be a solution for a space like this. Mahar has been discussed among some people, and that space over there, if you've taught in it, is it's just one big solid piece of cement. So some of the infrastructure challenges we would have, something like this could probably play into it. Again, we tested with 1 and 2. Probably if we wanted to do something upstairs in larger lecture halls, we're going to probably look at multiple of these and just add. They do have a tool. Oh, sorry, that's not the one I wanted to show you. They do have a tool. This is actually based off of 201 Campus Center and 114, roughly the same size, where you can drag in the different types of devices they have, and you can see what that audio coverage can be. So in a room like 201 or 114, we're probably looking at 2 of these ceiling arrays, and again, real good coverage. And I'll show you, I'll just play this. This one's a fairly short video. I'll just play this one first. Let me make sure I've got it here. That's the IntelliShot. Here we go. All right, hold on one second. I got to find it.
This is the checkers game where grandson and granddad will bond.
Skip this.
The new MX.
Hopefully the playback on this is fairly good for you.
With IntelliMix features steerable coverage technology. This makes it simple to accurately place pickup lobes for precise audio capture at every seat. But sometimes talkers move in their seats or stand up during a meeting, making it difficult for those on the far end to hear everything clearly. That's why the MXA910 with IntelliMix includes patent-pending autofocus technology. Autofocus fine-tunes the position of each lobe in real time for consistent sound, even if people lean back or stand up. Each lobe automatically detects changes in the talker's position and moves up to 1.5 feet in any direction to ensure maximum intelligibility. Here's how it sounds.
Hi, this is Chris with Shure. You're hearing me through this MXA 910 with IntelliMix. If I lean back in my chair, autofocus technology quickly moves the lobe to make sure that I stay centered. If I move my chair a little bit to the left or to the right, it adjusts automatically. Even if I stand up, autofocus quickly adjusts to make sure that my audio levels stay consistent and my voice is clear.
The MXA 910 with IntelliMix delivers sound quality that's clear and consistent. To learn more about Shure audio solutions for meetings and conferences, visit shure.com.
Okay. Any questions on microphones, what we're thinking there? Okay. Then really next, I want to talk about cameras. These Vadio IntelliShot is the latest and greatest. Actually, they just came out to market last month. They have AI capability as far as tracking. A little different from their last model is where you actually kind of had to wear a lanyard and the camera would track you based on where that lanyard would be. So this is a product that we're looking at. We'll probably also look at a secondary camera in the room. Obviously, this would be for the faculty member to be able to roam back and forth. Actually, back to this Shure one, our thought would be, again, the faculty member, in this type of scenario where the front of the room, be able to walk around this whole area in the front of the room and have that camera follow. Then again, we would most likely have a secondary camera to shoot the participants in the room. Again, I believe I have a small, this isn't the best scenario. Again, I'm sorry that it's a conference room, but again, I think with this being so new, there's not much yet out there as far as a classroom type setup. What they've showed us within our demos, it was a little better, but I could not get a copy of that video that you showed us. But this will kind of show you kind of what it does, and I'm sure you can relate to how it would work in more of a faculty setting.
So, good morning. So this is a quick demo of IntelliShot in action in one of our meeting rooms here in.
We can't see that video, Ty.
What you're seeing right now
Right.
is I've put it in. It's maybe its most aggressive way of zooming in, zooming out, but it's.
Where are you? Better now?
Yes, thank you.
Quite quickly after I
Let me rewind it just a little bit here.
in one of our meeting rooms here in Weert in the Netherlands. So what you're seeing right now is I've put it in. It's maybe its most aggressive way of zooming in, zooming out, but it's quite quickly after I entered the room, it started detecting me and tracking me across this room. And as you can see right now, I am here in this room by myself, and I've just read that it's being framed, and it's automatically basically based on the motion that I do in this room, I'm being detected. And if after a couple of seconds, a colleague of mine would join and also enter the room, they would be able to, the IntelliShot would automatically be able to detect that second person coming into the room. As you can see, it will not immediately start tracking my colleague that enters the room. It will wait a couple of seconds because it will first need to detect that actual someone not just passed by, but was actually joining this meeting as well. And as you can see, the IntelliShot will now automatically zoom out or basically increase the entire field of view, so we can basically everybody that is in the meeting right now will be framed automatically just based on the attendance in the room. And the same thing.
Okay, so that the IntelliShot, again, looking at that product as well as a secondary camera for the classroom. I apologize, I don't have, I was hoping to have a better view of, if you will, a two-camera shot. But again, with this being on the market, so being so new on the market, they really didn't have that promotional info at this point. So I wanted to see if there were some other things. Yeah, let me share this as well. We are also, I've got a couple licenses for Zoom rooms. I don't know if anybody's looked into Zoom rooms, but really what I'm envisioning and what I'd like Zoom rooms, at least for within the teaching space, is to allow for multiple views of your Zoom session. So what we're also thinking of doing is adding confidence monitors within classrooms. Again, for the full blown thing, it would be, you know, multiple microphones depending on the size of the room, the multiple cameras, and then additional flat panel TVs, if you will, for confidence monitors, either in the back of the room, depending on the depth. They could be suspended from the ceiling or, you know, on the back wall. But with the capabilities of Zoom rooms, that would allow you to have, you could see your content, or the faculty could see their content that they're presenting, as well as, you know, you see your Hollywood Squares traditional Zoom on a secondary monitor, if you will, or you could split that, you know, in multiple ways to see, you know, to see multiple views. So that's kind of what our thinking was. I did want to show you one more share screen, and this is kind of what a Zoom room type. This would go on our touch panel, if you will. And with the video cameras, this is what I'm trying to get away from, the camera control. Plenty of vendors out there make a camera, pan tilt zoom camera that you can control and move and, you know, focus and pick up different spaces within the room. But obviously, faculty member teaching, or, you know, any type of event where somebody's presenting, if you don't have somebody there to actually maneuver that, it's just going to become a burden and not get used. So that's the thought in the auto tracking cameras, to be able to, again, move that camera, you know, with the motion of the faculty member. Again, our touch screens will probably be a little bit bigger in these rooms. We'll have our traditional layout, and then you'll be able to go into these Zoom room settings, if you will, and be able to start your sessions fairly easy without having to actually work your controls in the Zoom application on the desktop. You can do it from here and get everything controlling. You can change your inputs and your outputs of what you would want to see on video. So that's that. And just because I have a picture, I will share this as well with you too, is our, we would be actually upgrading, you know, our control systems within the spaces, where we can have multiple ins and outs of the video, again, so we can add those secondary monitors. I know we kind of got John set up upstairs with a secondary monitor finally, but again, we had to go with a higher end unit to allow for those multiple inputs. So that is what we're thinking. And again, I hope to have at least one space, depending on what we can get for delivery by the end of the summer. I'd like to have a working space by the fall, and then continue to build a couple throughout the fall and then over winter break. So that's kind of our plan. Again, I wish I had a better shot of what I wanted to show you is for that confidence monitor type scenario. But if anybody's been in 122 and taught there, or just at least been in there, we have those confidence monitors on the floor. Envision those in a more standard classroom where the depth isn't so big, and you could have those on the backside. Even if anybody's been in our Wilbur classrooms, those 115 and 203, where you have the multiple monitors, something like that. Again, if you had Zoom rooms in that type of scenario, you could have those multiple visuals going on, as well as individual cameras at each one of those stations. You could have that active learning and the collaboration with people within the room and without, that are home. And then again, with the additional the microphones, I think the experience would be much better. So that's our goal. Again, I am open for thoughts, suggestions. Again, I really think probably the biggest hindrance probably for faculty that actually taught in the classes this last semester or the semester before was probably some of the audio issues. So again, we don't have to do these full blown rooms. We can mix and match and add pieces as we see, the need. So again, please feel free to reach out to me and let me know any thoughts or suggestions you have. So that's kind of all I had for today. So I'm kind of open for questions or comments and thoughts, I guess, if you will. I'm just looking at the chat here. As far as the recordings and stuff like that, again, depending on how you're using your recordings, Zoom obviously does do our cloud recording automatically once you set that up in the meeting. But then again, our overall policy is if you're going to keep those, is to move those into Panopto at some time. We're going to try and keep at least a semester, maybe a semester and a half of content within our storage. We're still trying to figure out how big that storage is. Right now, we're over 5 terabytes for a semester and a half, and we're going to probably be purging that sometime over the next month. But our goal would be to kind of stay at, keep that one semester, so faculty had time to move that out of there. So again, Zoom would probably be your best bet as far as within the class, and with the LTI and Blackboard, I think that's all working good. So, but again, let us know and we can assist. Anything else? Okay, well, again, I'm open for suggestions or questions. My extension is 5701. Feel free to send me an email and or reach out to Sean, and I'm sure he'll point you in my direction and we can have further discussions. So thank you for joining, and again, feel free to reach out.
Thank
Thanks, Ty.
you.